Hello friends, today we are going to talk about Swift. We will understand what is Swift, how does it work, and most importantly, when Russia moves out of this application, this network, then how is it going to impact Russia and other countries. Let's understand what is Swift. Swift is nothing but a secured network which is used to transfer information between one financial institution and other. It is just a tool, it is just a communication platform which enables various banks and financial institutions to communicate with each other. Let's say someone in US has to transfer money to someone in India. Now, bank in US is going to send that information via Swift network to bank in India in a standardized protocol so that bank in India will know which account number has to be credited in which branch. All the banking partners, all the financial institution partners have a specified code under Swift protocol, and that code is used to transfer to inform the other bank that this is the account in which money has to be remitted or transferred. It is nothing more than Gmail that we use or a messenger application that we would use to transfer information. Swift directly does not transfer money to anyone's account. It is just a communication tool used by banks so that language is standardized, they know what they are talking, and then communication is faster. Now, why is it so important if it is just a communication tool? Because Swift enables transfer of almost 40 million messages every day. Just imagine if it was done through Gmail or phone calls or through faxes. Without Swift, this process would be completely manual. Banks will have to take a lot of time to understand where the money has to be transferred, to whose account, in which branch. Now, Swift automates all of that, and most importantly, in a secured environment. If this communication platform is not secured, imagine what can happen to the money. So two things that Swift enables. One is faster and effective communication between various banks and financial institutions. And secondly, this is a complete secured platform for banks to communicate. So you would have heard of this entire discussion that Russia is going to be moved out of Swift system. Today, Russia accounts for almost 1.5% of all Swift transactions. Moving Russia out of this platform would mean Russian banks will have to rely on traditional technologies like faxes, or emails or other platforms to communicate with other banks throughout the globe. So import and exports which would happen from Russia would become little bit more cumbersome because Russian banks will find it more cumbersome to reconcile accounts, to communicate with other banking systems throughout the globe. Let's say someone in Europe has to transfer money to Russia. So today that information is being sent via Swift network. Now tomorrow when Russia is out of the system, that information has to go via fax machines or via other communication protocols. Now just imagine how cumbersome it would become for Russian banks to communicate as well as banks outside Russia to communicate with Russian banks. It is going to impact import and export directly for Russia. And not just Russia, but even European countries which are completely dependent on at least the natural gas today. 40% of Europe's natural gas comes from Russia today. If that stops, it is going to bring Europe to a standstill. Similarly, if imports and exports from Russian economy, which today is a sizable economy in the globe, stops, it is going to make world more inflationary. Because price of natural gas is going to go up, price of fuel is going to go up, and which is going to add to inflation throughout the globe. Similarly, one threat which will also come is today all the transactions which happens between various financial institutions are closely monitored through Swift system. At least there is one central system wherein all these transactions gets recorded and there is a proper trail and someone can have a global scrutiny. Tomorrow that is going to stop. So all the transactions with Russian banks will be outside Swift platform, and it will be very difficult for global partners. It will be very difficult for any authority, any centralized authority across the globe to audit or review those transactions. No one will know how money is going in and out of Russia and for what purposes. Lastly, Russia is going to create its own platform similar to Swift. That would become a big threat to Swift because Swift today has a monopoly, the only system which is prevalent globally today. If Russia comes with its own system, that would give a strong competition to not just Swift system but also to US dollar. Now, Russia already has a platform which Russia uses to communicate for domestic transactions. Almost 20% of Russia's transactions are on that domestic platform. And if Russia would be using that, leveraging that platform, that could bring in big competition for SWIFT. So far that system has not been very successful, but if Russia is moved out of SWIFT, then Russia is going to push very hard to come with an alternate system to communicate. Hopefully you learned something more about SWIFT system today. Thank you for watching. Take care. Jai Hind.